Hello, everyone. I'm the mysterious man who will share with you spooky tales I've heard, as well as the stories sent in from all over by viewers like you. Today, I'm bringing you a story I once heard, a tale of a haunted school in Long Thanh. The names in this story have been changed. Now, please sit back and listen to the eerie tale of the haunted school in Long Thanh. In Long Thanh, Dong Nai province, lies an old school surrounded by dense trees. From the outside, the school retains a hauntingly ancient look, with cracked walls, moss-covered tiles, and long hallways scattered with broken lights that create an eerie, desolate atmosphere. Despite the school still being in use, no one dares stay on campus after dark. Stories of strange phenomena have haunted students and teachers alike. But the truth behind this school is far darker and more terrifying. Why a student in class TNG didn't believe the ghost stories about her school. Her classmates often spoke of hearing footsteps echoing in the hallways at night, knocks on classroom doors, or the sound of crying coming from the girls' restroom. Why dismissed these as mere tales meant to frighten each other? One evening, needing to study for an important exam, Why decided to stay at school a bit longer. It was nearing 8 p.m. and the other classes had left, leaving the school in an eerie silence. Sounds familiar in the daytime seemed swallowed by the thick darkness. Why tried to focus on her studies, but the whistling wind made her uneasy. Suddenly, a noise echoed from the far end of the hallway. Wai looked up, her heart racing. Slow, deliberate footsteps were approaching her. Thinking it might be the security guard, she tried to ignore it. But the footsteps grew closer and closer until they seemed just outside the classroom door. A chill crept over her. The air in the room felt dense. When she looked toward the door, there was no one there. Strangely, the door, previously closed, slowly creaked open without a sound. Overcome with fear, Wai quickly gathered her things and dashed out of the room, her heart pounding. A few days later, Wai was still haunted by the strange incident. She shared her experience with friends who told her others had encountered similar events. One friend, Vi, recalled that once, while staying late to clean up, she had heard crying from the girls' restroom at the end of the hall. Initially thinking it was a student in distress, Vi approached, but the crying abruptly stopped. She entered the restroom, where dim lights flickered against the worn tiles. Standing there, she heard nothing but the occasional drip of water. But just as she was about to leave, the crying resumed behind her. Startled, Vi spun around, but no one was there. Then, one of the stall doors slowly creaked open, tearing through the silence. In the dim light, she saw a girl with long hair leaning over the sink. Terrified, Vi called out, but received no response. The girl gradually turned around, her face pale with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce Vi's soul. Vi screamed and bolted from the restroom, never daring to return. After these eerie encounters, Wai and Vi decided to investigate the legends surrounding the school. They asked older teachers, but none were willing to speak about the ghostly rumors. Finally, they met Ms. Tan, a janitor who had worked at the school for over 20 years. Miss then explained that years ago, the school witnessed the tragic death of a student named Mai. Mai had been an excellent student, but faced immense pressure from her family. During an important exam, when she didn't achieve the high marks expected of her, her family scolded her harshly. Unable to bear the pressure, Mai took her life in the school's girls' restroom, the very same place where Vi had heard crying. Since then, Mai's spirit had lingered, carrying with it grief and bitterness. Miss Fan softly said, "I've seen her many times on sad nights. She doesn't want to harm anyone. She just seeks peace." One night, Y decided to uncover the truth about Mai's spirit. She and Vi prepared a tape recorder, flashlights, and stayed late into the night. They walked down the cold, deserted hallways where strange sounds had echoed before. Nearing the girls' restroom, they heard footsteps behind them. They stopped, holding their breaths, and the footsteps stopped too. Just then, Y's flashlight flickered and died. As she tried to turn it back on, they were left in complete darkness, save for a faint glow at the end of the hallway. Suddenly, soft crying came from the restroom. Y and Vi exchanged glances and stepped inside. But as they reached the door, it flew open, a chilling draft blowing out from within. Inside, they saw the faint outline of a girl standing in the center of the room. Mai's face appeared ghostly white under the dim light. Mai slowly opened her mouth, her voice filling the room. "Why did you leave me?" Her voice was cold, desolate, and filled with sorrow. Sounds grew chaotic around them, the howling wind, laughter, and sobs intertwined. Y and Vi tried to escape, but Mai's image seemed to follow, appearing at every turn. After that night, Mai's image haunted Y's dreams, standing silently with eyes full of despair. Feeling compelled to help her find peace, Y decided to return to the school one last time to face Mai's spirit. That night, as darkness settled, Y entered the school with a fierce resolve. The campus was desolate, shrouded in an ominous stillness. Flickering lights cast dim shadows down the hallways. Y walked slowly, as though crossing a boundary between life and death. Approaching the girls' restroom, she heard water dripping inside a cold invitation. The door was ajar, with the dim ceiling light casting an eerie glow. Y stepped inside, her heart pounding. She saw Mai standing by the mirror, her figure misty, like a wisp of smoke. Mai's long hair cascaded over her shoulders, her face expressionless, but her eyes held a trace of longing. The silence was unnerving, broken only by Y's quiet breathing. "I'm here to help you find peace," Y said, her voice trembling but empathetic. Mai remained silent, her deep gaze fixed on Y, as if she wanted to speak but couldn't. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the window, scattering droplets on the floor and swaying the curtain. The overhead light flickered, and Mai's figure wavered, fading like mist. Her eyes softened, a rare calmness crossing her face as her pain seemed to dissipate. Her form gradually dissolved in the light of dawn streaming through the window, a silent, peaceful farewell. Just before she disappeared, her faint whisper lingered in the air. like a distant echo, thank you. Perhaps it was just the night breeze, or perhaps my spirit still wandered, watching the steps of those entering the school, a lingering reminder of a young girl's search for peace amid sorrow and despair. The story ends here. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed this tale, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and encourage more stories to come. Goodbye and see you next time.